I know, Bruce. I go on at 11:30. Here I come, y'all. Here I come. Skin the Hardaway Studying T, back with another EP. And we're gonna be here for a minute. Today, I want to talk about something. I love this sport of boxing. I got a real love for this sport of boxing. True love. Well, let me say what's up to everybody coming in this joint. Shout out my guy Bruce Gold sliding through this joint. Appreciate you sliding through this joint, Bruce Gold. Shout out my guy Yoda Wise Crush. Appreciate you sliding through this joint, Yoda. Glad you can make it. Shout out my guy Big Tex. Appreciate you sliding through this joint, Big Tex. Glad you can make it. My guy Dwayne Freeman. Glad you can make it. So now that I spoke to everybody in the building, I want to get into it. I got 4 fighters. I got 4 fighters in this header right now. We got Errol Spence in the top left corner. Well, we got Cool Boy Steph, in the top right corner. We got Devin Haney in the bottom left corner. And we got, the highly controversial Jermell Charlo down there in the bottom right corner. Now, I chose these fighters for a particular reason. You know what I mean? Some of the same reasons, some different reasons, you know what I mean? But these fighters in particular, I wanted to key on. You know what I mean? I feel like right now in the sport of boxing, we got a lot of guys, strategically, selecting their fights. We got a lot of guys, picking their fights, not necessarily taking the fights against the best competition, not necessarily challenging themselves, to be better, not even necessarily, challenging themselves to give the fans, what they want. It's really few far in between in this era. It's few far in between in this era, for real, that you get fighters who actually, want to be the best in their division, want to clean out a division. They want to take those chances, to be great. They want to give fans entertaining fight. Even these guys up here, sometimes they give the people entertaining fights, at an expense to themselves, in the fight, just to please, the fans. And you kind of, you got to appreciate that, especially in the time like right now when you got who was some would call, the face of boxing. You know what I'm saying? We got today's top boxers, and I'm going to use, Canelo Alvarez. For instance, you got him, fighting a top guy, few far in between. You got him having, big fights in front of him and, not necessarily choosing to take, the big fights that you got right in front of them. Let me say what's up to the people as they roll in. What's good, Tay? Appreciate you sliding through this joint, Tay. Y'all hit that like button for your brother on the way in. My guy St. Louis Mix was good. Appreciate you sliding through this jump, fam. Glad you could make it, St. Louis. But hell yeah, in the time you got guys, at the top of the sport, moving a certain way. I did an EP about the 168-pound division earlier this morning. If y'all haven't seen it, go check that out. It was about what Caleb Plant said in regards to Canelo Alvarez's tournament statement, his own opinion type deal. Go check that out. He said he'll be willing to fight, Charlo Benavidez and then Canelo Alvarez again, if need be. But you got guys, it's free far between that you get guys in the sport today that really, really want to put themselves in there with the best competition and, take out the best competition en route to calling themselves, the best. So I want to start with, and I'm finna give y'all the reason why I picked each fighter, the reason why I picked each of these fighters that's up here. To start with Errol Spence. And a lot of these, are for the, same reason. What's good, Daryl Adams? Appreciate you sliding through this, John Daryl Adams. Glad you can make it, my UK brother. What's good? Y'all do your boy a favor. Hit that like button when you slide in. But y'all want to start with Errol Spence. Errol Spence is currently the unified champion at the 147-pound division. That's the welterweight division. Errol Spence has been on a fight streak of about, if you take out his mandatory in between there, Errol Spence has been on a fight streak of about 5 fights where he's fought only top of 5 welterweights. He's been on the 5-fight streak where he only fought top 10 welterweights, and he's been on the 7-fight streak where he only fought top 7 welterweights. You know what I mean? He's fought top contender, champion, top contender, champion. You know what I mean? And right now it's a top contender. You know what I mean? And right now in the sport of boxing, that's few far in between. You know what I mean? His run right now is arguably, the best run so far that we've had. If he could, if he could complete this, let's say he get Ugas and let's say he get Bud after and he win both fights, that could be probably the best run, we've seen in today's era, of this time, of this generation. You know what I mean? So he got a chance to do something big right now at 147, and you're only able to do that, by fighting the best competition and putting yourself in the ring with other champions. You know what I mean? So that's why I picked Errol Spence, pound for pound guy. He gives you exciting fight. He's a crowd pleaser. He's a guy, whatever that the naysayers are saying or whatever his opponent is saying or spitting at him, he's one of those guys that's going to come out there and he going to beat you exactly that way that you said, he couldn't beat you. He's one of those guys. He's a fan-friendly fighter. He mixes it up, not afraid to mix it up. Exciting fighter to watch, fighting top guys. 2-belt champion in his division, going for a 3rd belt coming up April 16th. Pending that goes, well for him. He'll be a unified 3-belt champion with only 1 fight left for undisputed. So that's why I chose Errol Spence. You got Cool Boy Steph. Now I'm going to tell y'all this. For a long time, Cool Boy Steph, y'all do your boy a favor when y'all roll in. Hit that like button for your boy. Shout out my guy, C. Wood. I see you in the building, C. Wood. Appreciate you sliding through this, John C. Wood. I see you done snuck in the building. But you got a guy like Cool Boy Steph who kind of been flying under the radar. You got a guy like Cool Boy Steph who kind of been flying under the radar. But these last 2 years, Cool Boy Steph has put his name. See, you on some hate shit. I'm going to get to that, Ghost. You on some hate shit, Ghost. I'm going to get to it, though. We're going to get to Charlie. That's why I put him last. Cool Boy Steph, and that's Jermell Charlie, 154. Put some respect on that dude's name. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for, Ghost. Shout out my nigga Ghost. Shout out Drew Titan sliding through this jump. Appreciate you sliding through this jump, Drew Titan. But yeah, these last 2 years, though, Cool Boy Steph has been putting his name, in there with the greats. Now, Cool Boy Steph is one of those guys whose name is kind of new, kind of new to people's ears. It's kind of new to people here and there. But if you look at his run as of late, you know what I mean? Top contender, champion, top contender. And he got a mandatory coming up against another top contender. And then after that, him in the champion division already said that they want to fight each other. So now you got Cool Boy who's on another magical, magnificent run. If you really pay attention to what's going on, what's going on, you got Cool Boy who's also on another run of top 10 opponent, top 5 opponent, champion after champion on the road to being, undisputed in such a short period of time. And also, Cool Boy was one of those guys where people said, well, I don't like his style. Oh, he's boring. Oh, he don't get many knockouts. So you know what Cool Boy did? Cool Boy said, you know what, cool. What I'm finna do is I'm finna start stepping on the inside with these guys. And, I'm finna start banging them out to show y'all that, yeah, I could box. You know what I mean? I could bang and beat these folks on the inside. But I choose to box, to punch, and not be here. But, when it's time to prove to y'all on the inside, when I got like Brandon Figueroa saying what he gonna do to me, saying he gonna stop me. You got him coming off a stoppage against Luis Nery. You know what I mean? You got him on his highs. He beat Brandon Figueroa at his highest. He beat Angelo Leo at his highest. He about to fight Ramon, if I'm mistaken. Damn, I forgot Ramon. But he about to fight Ramon. Ramon only got one loss, top prospect, and he got a loss against one of the top fighters in that division. Also do Ramon. So you got Cool Boy that's on this run. And let's say that he do get the undisputed fight after this fight. What's good, Vector? What's good, Vector? Ah, man, get out of here, bro. Get out of here, Vector. Get out of here, Vector. You on the wrong page. You on the wrong page then, Victor. But yeah, and we got Cool Boy Steph, who's making his name like right now. Who's making his name like right now, as we speak. You know what I mean? So Cool Boy is another one of those guys that I need for y'all to keep your name on. He's newer. He's one of the newer faces on this list. You know what I mean? But Cool Boy is a real problem out here, and I need people to peep, what that young man is doing right now. And then on the bottom left corner, we got Devin Haney. And if Vector would have just listened, I'm telling you why I picked these people. But you come right in, you go straight to the race card. You go straight to the race card when I'm literally telling you why I picked these people. Why I picked these. I'm telling you why I picked these people. When you come in and go straight to the race card, bro. That's what I'm saying, man. Y'all be killing me with stuff like that. But in the bottom left corner, we got Devin Haney. Now, Devin Haney is a little different than, the rest of the guys up here. Devin Haney is currently the one belt title holder in the division, the WBC champion. Devin Haney's situation is a little different. Devin Haney has fought and he's beat the people he's beat the best available talent to him. You know what I mean? He hasn't had the opportunities to fight top guys in his division on a consistent level back to back to back. You know what I mean? He hasn't had, the opportunity to do that. But he do got a solid win in Linares, which came off a fight and where Devin Haney was supposed to fight somebody else, but he pulled out a fight. You know what I mean? So, boom, he ended up fighting Linares. He also has a win over Jojo Diaz, who pulled out a fight with Devin Haney previously to fighting him to fight somebody else, and the fight fell through. So he ended up having to fight Devin Haney. So he has a good win over Jojo Diaz. And in both wins, Devin Haney is made this young king list because Devin Haney has been seeking Lomachenko. He made what people call, the best super lightweight, right? 135 pounder. He made Lomachenko, give up his belt and get off his belt. You know what I mean? Lomachenko rather take, he opted to take the franchise belt instead of fighting Devin Haney, in the WBC title fight. So he gave his belt to Devin Haney. He had Lomachenko, who was really hesitant to fight him, didn't really want to fight him. You got another guy in Ryan Garcia who was hesitant to fight him, didn't really want to fight him. These are fights that Devin Haney was actively seeking. And these guys said that they want to fight Devin Haney, but ended up not fighting Devin Haney, for whatever reason. Devin Haney was actively seeking these fights. You know what I mean? He wasn't just barking, saying this and saying that, and to get an opportunity and then not fight a guy. Devin Haney had a lot of guys pulling out of fights to fight with him. You know what I mean? So I put him in here because of his willingness to fight everybody and the opportunity that he has in front of him. If you really look at it, Devin Haney is one of the longest reigning champions, in the matter of fact, he's the longest reigning champion in the super lightweight division. And Devin Haney has had that WBC belt about, 2 years now? You know what I mean? Devin Haney has had his belt, for a minute. And it's been seen in the big fights have still been seen to evade him. You know what I mean? So that's why I put Devin Haney over there. And because of the opportunity. What's good, Jay? Let me say what's up to y'all folks in the business so I won't be rude. What's good, J.A. Dixon? Appreciate you sliding through this joint. Ghost was good, fam. Appreciate you sliding through this, young Ghost. My brother Ghost was good. Yeah, you came in. Drew Titan. I spoke to Drew Titan. Okay. I spoke to everybody. And Wild Willis, what's good, fam? Appreciate you sliding through this, young. And Wild, glad you can make it. But yeah, that's why I got Devin Haney on here, because what he's about to do, he has an opportunity to be great. Devin Haney signed his name. Another thing fighters don't really do these days, like I said before, fighters these days, they don't really, fight the best guys. Devin Haney said, you know what? I'm going to fight the best guy. I'm going to sign the lowest, I'm going to sign the lowest contract that I had in years. I'm going to take half of what I made in my fight before this, and I'm going to sign on for 2 extra fights with a company that I don't even want to go to, but I know that I got to go through, to get to my ultimate goal of what I want to do with my career and my life. So that's why I'm putting Devin Haney up here. Win, lose, or draw, Devin Haney is chasing greatness. He's trying. You know what I mean? So that's why I got Devin, down there in their left corner. And now we got Jermell Charlo. Now my guy Ghost came in here and said that Jermell Charlo does not belong on this 4 Kings list. And I'm going to tell y'all why I absolutely disagree with my partner Ghost. Now, Jermell Charlo, he said, I give the little one a pass. Okay, for sure. Well, okay with it. Okay, well, let me tell y'all about Jermell Charlo. I know I lost some people with that. But let me tell you why this man is a king, whether you like it or you don't like it, whether you're a fan or you're not a fan. Well, Vector, don't shoot Vector, y'all. Don't shoot Vector. Well, you know what, Vector? Real quick, Vector. Which fighters would you call kings? And I'm gonna ask you this question, Vector. Why is it a problem with the fighters that I choose? You know what I mean? I'm telling you why. Don't shoot them, y'all. I'm telling you why I chose these fighters. You went straight to color, bro. I'm telling you why I picked these fighters. The first thing you said when you came on here was they black. Why is that the first thing you noticed when I'm giving you the reasons why I'm picking these fighters? I didn't one time say because they were black. I'm literally telling you why I'm picking these fighters. Now you tell me some fighters that you think king. You know what I mean? You tell me a fighter that you think a king. You know what I mean? What's good, Cassandra? I appreciate you sliding through this joint. The way you came in was all wrong, bro. And I'm telling you why I picked these people. You just see me. What you did was saw a black dude that wanted to talk good, that called other black men kings, and you had a problem with it. I didn't see you on my Caleb Plant. I ain't see you on my Caleb Plant studying tea early. Bet, okay, Vector. Now this is my challenge to you, Vector. You create your page. If you don't already got one. And you talk about Alexander Usyk. That's what you do. Because Usyk is the king, don't mean the people that I'm talking about ain't the king. If I had to put Usyk up here too, I would have been being disrespectful to one of them. You feel like Usyk is a king. So how about you go to your page and you tell us why you feel like Usyk is a king? Exactly. He don't know. Because all he did was saw a black man and he saw 4 black people and he shot off. It was about race to him. I'm literally telling you why I feel like these people are what. And you come in with, all black people. You got a problem with people calling black people kings. And I pick these people because nobody calls them king. That's why I pick these people, because these people get disrespected. People give Usyk his just due. I pick Usyk to beat Joshua. I pick Usyk to beat Tyson Fury. What are you talking about, bro? I chose these people. And then, hey, Victor, guess what, Victor? I'm not even LDBC. You see what I mean? It's because I'm black. you racist. You know, you got a problem with black excellence, which is why you brought up the LDBC. You got a problem with that, bro. You got a problem saying black men get their just due. You got a problem with black men talking highly about other black men. That's your problem, bro. That's a problem within you, fam. How about you go create your page and you tell us your kings. It's that simple. Don't come in here talking about black, because you the only person. What you here for? That's what I'm saying. Why are you here? And I'm not LDBC. I'm just black. And that's your problem. That's the problem. You got a problem, bro. You got a problem, fam. But anyway, I'm going to continue. And I'm going to tell y'all why Jermell Charlo is the king. And I'm giving these guys their flowers because they deserve it. Not many people get it. You know, not many people give them the respect that, you know, they deserve. So I'm going to tell y'all why Jermell Charlo is a motherfucking king. Jermell Charlo had been winning fights. That was good. G5, Cassandra, Teach, Johnny Page. I said Johnny Page, Johnny Q, Batman, John Page. Hope I ain't missing nobody. Let me do y'all right. Shout out my guy Johnny Q. Appreciate you sliding through this joint. Shout out my guy Teach. Appreciate you sliding through this joint, Teach. Shout out my girl Cassandra. Shout out my guy G5. Appreciate you sliding through that joint. But yeah, Jermell Charlo had been fighting fights coming up in his career before he had even he fought a guy that Triple G beat before Triple G fought him at 154 when he was like 15-0. Jermell Charlo fought the fucking nephew of the company that he works for when he was like 17-0. Jermell Charlo wasn't even supposed to win. People look at Jermell Charlo back end run, which I'm gonna break down for you. His back end run is great too, but his front end run is just as great as his back end run. Really go peep Jermell Charlo's career. Really go peep how his shit was formed and where he came from and all that good shit with Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo early was put into a lot of fights that he wasn't supposed to win. He was put in a lot of fights that he was not supposed to win. You know what I mean? And then to get on the back end of his career, he's fought top guy after top contender, champion after champion. He's one fight away from undisputed, at the 154-pound division, which I said about 2 years ago on my Southern T, which was the most competitive division in boxing. Listen to what I said. I didn't say the best division in boxing. I said 154-pound division is the most competitive in boxing. He's the 3-belt champion in the most competitive division, in my opinion, in boxing. He's beaten motherfucking Lubin, who's still a contender today. He's beaten Lubin. He's beaten, this is recently. He's beaten Banana Rosario. He's beaten motherfucking Tony Harrison twice. Tony Harrison may be the best per boxer in the 154-pound division. Maybe one of the best per boxers in the fucking world right now. Tony Harrison got a hand in training Alyssa Baumgartner, who just got her first strap, which I think had a lot to do with Tony Harrison helping train her. Tony Harrison is one of the best boxers, today. He got wins against, what was the other guy? It's one more guy. Banana, Tony Harrison, Erickson Lubin. Y'all gonna shoot him. Y'all gonna shoot him. Y'all gonna shoot him. Y'all gonna shoot him. Because I just told him I'm not. He really saying black channels. Black channels is what's really wrong with boxing. Always acting like black fighters get it wrong. Eastern European fighters are the ones who get nearly ready to get talked about on the media. No. Eastern European fighters get talked about on their media. This ain't their media. Learn where you at. You ain't even supposed to be here. Get the fuck out of my house. But anyway, I digress. Y'all get him out of my house. Y'all get him out the house. Don't let y'all get him out the house. Get him out the house right now. Y'all, get him out the house. But yeah, and I'm not even LDBC. The thing is, really, it's a black guy. But I'm gonna continue. Jermell Charlo has had, win over top competitor, champion, two-time 154-pound champion, which is the most competitive division. You got a division where Nathaniel Gallimore then knocked out motherfucking one of the top prospects in the division just last year, Leon Lawson. Nathaniel Gallimore, a journeyman, knocked off one of the top prospects, Leon Lawson, Andre Darrell, them nephew and prospect. Nathaniel Gallimore knocked him off. Nathaniel Gallimore got knocked out by Banana Rosario. Banana Rosario got knocked out by Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo got beat by Tony Harrison. Banana Rosario knocked out J-Rock Williams. J-Rock Williams upset and he beat Jerry Hurd. Jerry Hurd beat goddamn Nathaniel Gallimore. You got Jermell Charlo reigning supreme in one of the most, and Erickson Lubin is coming up right behind Jermell Charlo, just beating all of them. You know what I mean? You got a guy, and Jermell Charlo beat Erickson Lubin. You got a guy who is fighting the best people in his division, and he's also knocking out the best people in his division. So he got to be, on this list. And again, And again, Jermell Charlo. The reason I didn't put, Alexander Usyk in here because Jermell Charlo is not on anybody's pound for pound. Alexander Usyk is already on everybody's pound for pound. Alexander Usyk is ranked higher than Jermell Charlo on my pound for pound. You know what I mean? So Alexander Usyk gets his just due. You know what I mean? He gets his just due. Lomachenko gets his just due. Lomachenko has been on more pound for pounds than Jermell Charlo has ever been on. You know what I mean? What 3-belt champion isn't on the pound for pound list right now? You know what I mean? Especially when you talk about pound for pound, which is a created list, made up by the sanctioning bodies. So who you think they're going to have in their pound for pounds more so than not? Those guys. So this is me giving these guys, their flowers. And I gave you my reasons as to why. I told you, and I really don't feel like irrefutable. In the time where we got guys, who just refuse to fight the best guys, these guys continue to step up and they fight the best guys. Now it's something else that I want to talk about. I try my best not to, but we like to put all our fighters in one lump sum. But I chose these 4 guys right now because these 4 guys are moving in the way like the fighters of old. And not all, the fighters of old, but the greats of old. The best fighters of past time and past tense. I feel like these 4 fighters that I just named right here, right now, that you see on this list, I feel like for the reasons that I just told you, all these fighters in here got heart. All these fighters in here are good boxers. All these fighters in here have proven, their worth in boxing today. I feel like the reason I call them kings, and this is the reason I call them kings, and I'm about to get to it. I wish, my guy Vector had to let me, get to the end of what I was saying. This is why I call those guys kings, because I feel like you could stick these 4 guys right here in any era, and if they don't still, do what they doing in today, I guarantee you these guys will still be in the mix with the best names in and around those divisions of any era you stick these 4 guys in. These guys want all the smoke. You know what I mean? Most guys, a lot of guys today run from greatness. You got guys like Hammy Mungill, who kind of sidestep, the big fights. He get the opportunities. He kind of sidestep them. Devin Haney has been running 2 opportunities and not getting them. You know what I mean? Lomachenko got an opportunity, to fight Devin Haney. He got an opportunity, to defend, his belt. But he chose to fight Teofimo Lopez instead in another title fight, gave his belts back and gave his belt up. You know what I mean? So you got guys who get up. You got Canelo Alvarez, you know what I mean? And Bivol is a good fight, you know what I mean? But Bivol is a fighter at 175. I can't knock him for fighting Bivol at 175. If you want to move up a division up there in unified title, that's cool. But when you say you want to move up to 175 and then move back down and fight Triple G at 168, I got to question that, because if you're going to move up to fight Bivol and be great, that's cool. But if you're going to move back down to 168, why wouldn't you fight your WBO mandatory? Or why wouldn't you fight your WBC mandatory in David Benavidez, or your WBO mandatory and Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade? You know what I mean? Why would you, even question about bringing Jamal Charlo up a division to fight him if you didn't, pick to fight him? You know what I mean? So we got certain guys who have opportunities to make the big fights, to give us the big fights, and they don't necessarily, do that. But these guys that I named up here, I feel like if you had stuck them back in the day, Devin Haney, 135, Devin Haney would have fought, Roberto Duran at 135 or whatever, or 140. Those guys coming up. Devin Haney would have fought goddamn Manny Pacquiao if you stick him, back there and he's coming up through the divisions, 135 and all that good shit. Jermell Charlo, I feel like Jermell Charlo would have fought Marvin Hagler, would have fought Sugar Ray Leonard. He wouldn't have been tucking his tail, running the other way, looking at those middleweights. It did like, oh, those guys too good for me. I'm not now. I think Jermell Charlo will have the same mentality he got right now. Go walk through, run through every motherfucking thing. Anybody could get it. Anybody could get it. Earl Spence, you stick him back there in the days, at the, 147s, the best of the best at the 147s. Tommy Hearns at welterweight. You know what I mean? Errol Spence wouldn't have been ducking no smoke with no motherfucking, Tommy Hearns. I think Errol Spence versus Tommy Hearns would have been a motherfucking banger. A motherfucking banger. I think we go see both them niggas hit the ground. You know what I mean? We go see some motherfucking leather flying. You know what I mean? I don't think these guys, cool boy, 122. You know what I'm saying? 126. Throw cool boy back there in those times. I can't really think of no 122s. I might only think 122 is a division. Let's go 130 or something like that. Aaron Pryor or something like that. 130, cool boy, 120. You know what I mean? Cool boy wouldn't have had no problem stepping in the ring, fighting no motherfucking body. Back then, back in the day, you know what I mean? One of those little guys. Durant. Cool boy wouldn't mind fighting motherfucking Durant. You know what I mean? He would have. I think these guys would have been able to do the same things that they doing now back then. And I don't think that enough of our fighters, not all of our fighters these days in this generation, because a lot of our fighters these days in this generation, they don't be actively seeking smoke. They don't be actively seeking the best fights. They don't be, trying to give, the people the biggest fights, the people fights, the fights that the people want. They necessarily don't do that these days. But I know greatness when I see it. I know, a difference. I know a difference between a guy. I know a difference between the guy who's being sold to me, as a great fighter, who's being pushed as a great fighter. And I know a guy who's really out here stepping in, fighting the top guys in their divisions, in their divisions and in and around their divisions. You got Cool Boy Steph, who hollered at, who was saying for a long time, who said a couple years ago, I'm waiting for Inoue to move up. And when he move up, we go see about it. Inoue is still down there 118. And I think a guy like Inoue who gets his credit, a guy like Inoue who gets his just due, a guy like Inoue who gets love, who has been on the pound for pounds and all that. I feel like a guy like Inoue is just waiting on Cool Boy Step to move up to 126. Inoue is about to fight Donaire again, which I give him credit for. But let's just be real. You fought Donaire about 3 years ago. I see a pattern. When certain guys have fights against guys, and it's a rough fight for them against older vets, when these younger guys have fights against these older vets, and it's a little rough for them, they kind of wait until later on, Canelo, Triple G3, they kind of wait until later on, to call those guys back down and say, oh, well, okay, let's run it back. Now, it would have been more masterful if Inoue had a fight Donaire. It was a close fight, and you ran it back right with him at that point in time, you know what I mean? Now, my guy Go said Donaire is an old man. True. Donaire still putting in work, Go. So I still think it's going to be a good fight. Donaire is a little older, but he's still putting in work. But we're about to see, Go. You're absolutely right. But right, he let Donaire get a little older, you know what I mean? And it was a close fight back then. Donaire still look good. He's still knocking out young bulls. But I just think he kind of waited Donaire out a little bit. And now I think he waiting Cool Boy Stephen Fortin out of his division. I think he's kind of waiting for Cool Boy Step to move up in a division. Then anyway, go hop in at 122 and he go fight in that end. To be for real though, Daenerys is on fire. He was less of a favorite. And they're less. I mean, you can say that, but he's still 40 years old. If a guy was able to beat you when you was 37, he already younger than you. What make you go ahead and think you're gonna have a better shot to beat him when you're 40 years old? You know what I mean? Donaire still look good. He does still look good. But I would have gave him. I'm not saying I'm not giving him credit. I'm not saying I'm not giving him credit, Z World. What I'm saying is I would have gave him more credit if he had fought him, if he had ran it back right then. If he had ran it back then, I would have gave it to him. And y'all know how I feel about the favorite and all that good shit. That's just favorite here and there. That's Vegas telling you who this and that. I pick my own favorites and shit to my fights because I do this shit too. You know what I mean? So is it a closer fight now than it was back then? The answer is no. It's not. But because Donaire looked good and he's been looking good since then, the optics of it look like that. But Donaire had a better chance to beat him back then because guess what? He almost beat him back then when nobody gave him a chance. You know what I mean? He said he's more of a favorite now. That's true because back then nobody gave him a chance because he was an old Donaire. He was 37. He had been through wars. He's been through more fights in more wars now at 40 years old than he was when he was 37. You know what I mean? He's a closer favorite now because we looking at the last fight and what he's been doing lately. He was a father underdog back then because we knew that he was old. We thought so highly of anyway. Now Donner showed us that he's still pretty good. So now we give him a better chance. But realistically, it's gonna be anyway go win this fight easier than he won the last one. You know what I mean? But I feel like anyway, it's kind of waiting out. Anyway, it's another one of the top guys today who don't necessarily take the big fights, you know, like I feel like he should take, which is why I give credit and I give kudos to the guys in these pictures, you know what I mean? Anyway versus Cool Boy is a fight that, you know, I feel like should have happened. Cool Boy Steph, and anyway should have, you know, now I ain't gonna say it should have happened already, but it should be in talks right now. If this is last fight at 118 and Cool Boy got a Mando coming up and possibly undisputed, anyway, and Cool Boy Steph should already be hitting at each other about, you know, possibly a showdown between them two. That'll be a fight of the best little guys, you know, down there. Cool Boy Steph just beat Brandon Figueroa. You know, he looking real good right now. He looking like the best little guy right now. You got anyway down there who's only one division under him, who's been coming up, you know what I mean, who's a pretty big guy for his division. You know, he's street sweeping everybody in his division except for Nino Donner. Nino Donner is really the only person who gave him a competitive fight, and now he's fighting him again. So after this fight, I feel like the best move for anyway would just be to move up and, you know, to fight, you know, Cool Boy Step. You know what I mean? Let's get in the chat for a second. He said, agreed, T. Anyways, fools go. They moving him hella careful. And I think anyway got some talent. I think he got some talent. I just want to see him fight a guy like Cool Boy so I could really gauge his talent for real. You know what I mean? For all shit, we know he going there. He might stop Cool Boy. You know what I mean? We don't know. He might catch Cool Boy with some shit and put him out. We don't know, but I want to see it. That's a fight that I do want to see, which is why, you know, I push for fights like that. You know what I mean? I don't know why other people push for fight, but I push for good fights. The best fighting the best. If this is the best guy, I want him to fight this guy. You know, that's the best guy. You know what I mean? But I feel like these 4 fights, they could have, you know, lasted in any era, mentally and physically. You know what I mean? Because these are what we would call today is throwback fighters. Throwback fighters means, you know, exactly what it said, throwback fighter. A fighter you could put back in the day and they'll still be, you know, pretty good. You know what I mean? They'll still be champions. I guarantee you, Jermell Charlo, Earl Spence, Cool Boy Steph, and goddamn Devin Haney will still be champions in, you know, in the era. At least one belt. Even if they don't get all the belts they got now, at least one belt. And then the thing I like about back in the day, which is a little different now, you know what again I say? The shit I like about the thing I like about back in the day that's different from now. Back in the day, they didn't really hold it against their fighters. They didn't knock their fighters. They didn't knock their fighters for taking losses. You know what I mean? So Earl Spence back then, Jermell Charlo back then, Devin Haney back then, Cool Boy Fulton back then, they could have got losses and they could have still been viewed as great. A lot of fighters today don't got losses, but they viewed as soft, or they viewed as not that good, or they viewed as fool's gold, as my guy said, is because they don't take those good fights. They're not fighting the best competition. So they look at them like fool's gold despite their old. The fighters from back in the past, we could look at them and we could fully process them for what they are, even with the losses, because those guys fought each other. So you know, oh, well, I know what Sugar Ray can do. I know what Tommy can do. I know what Marvin can do. And I know what all of them can do against each other. So he could take a couple losses, and I could still deem him a cold fighter because he went to war with him. He went to war with him. He beat him. He went to war with him and lost. Went to war with him, lost. He beat him. He beat him. And then shit, you got this guy who beat that guy that he beat, that he went to war with, and then the guy he went to war with lost to him. So you could gauge all of them and be like, oh yeah, all of them are good fighters because they all did whooped up on each other ass. So I feel like if you stick these 4 fighters back then, they may have some losses on their record. But I know because of their attitude and because of their skill, they're going to have some wins too against those top fighters. So they'll be able to have their rightful name and their rightful place with where they belong. But I don't want these 4 fighters in particular to get lost in all the bullshit and all the lukewarmness and all the strategizing and all the strategic movements that we got going on in today's boxing, because these guys are an anomaly. I didn't say they are the only anomaly, but these guys are anomalies. You know what I mean? These guys are anomalies. If you look at these guys' last recent fights, outside of Devin Haney, who's been trying to get these fights, but they've been evading him. But Devin Haney's last 2 fights ain't nothing to sneeze at either. You know what I mean? But when you look at these guys' last 4 or 5 fights, these guys are fighting straight champions and top contenders all throughout their division. What make you think if they was born? What make you think if they was born in the earlier time, they would have been any different from who they are today? That's what I mean by throwback fighters. Throwback fighters. My guy J.A. Dixon said they still give Loma his flowers when he loses. Facts. And it should be like that for everybody, not just, certain fighter or your favorite fighter or this fighter or that fighter. It should be like that for every fighter. Ain't nothing wrong with, taking that loss, especially if you taking that loss against a top guy. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with taking a loss, especially if you taking a loss against a top guy. I think fighters today so scared of losing they fucking oath, so scared of what people might say, what people might think. And is that our fault as fans? Because when a fighter lose in this era, in this generation, we put the shit all on social media. We put the shit on YouTube. We make them a meme. We crack on them. Like my guy Tay just was cracking on Caleb Plant, and he just goddamn fought, Canelo Alvarez. Probably the hardest fight Canelo Alvarez has had in years. You know what I mean? Fighters, I think it got a lot to do with us. Now, that shouldn't matter to them because they are fighters. They shouldn't give a fuck about what the media is saying, what the fans say. But in a time where media is in the palm of your hand, where all you got to do is pick up your phone and people could literally tag your name and tag your social media and say exactly what they want to say to you, when they want to say it, exactly how they want to say it. It do have a lot of these fighters, scared. It do have, I know, Teddy, I try to throw that joint in there. It do have a lot of these fighters. Scared to step in the ring and fight, top guys. So when we get fighters who want to do it, we gotta stop, cracking on these fighters for taking these top fighters fights and losing to them. You know what I mean? We gotta start cracking on these top fighters who taking these easy fights, who taking these pushover fights, who taking these walkover fights, and they selling it to us like it's just golden, like it's the golden goose, when we know it's not. You know what I mean? That's the problem. We baby these fighters. We don't hold these fighters accountable for fighting trash. You know what I mean? I do feel like people get labeled top guys too easily before they actually put in the work. That's what I mean. But the media, that's the media. That's the media, J.A.D., which is why, that's the media, J.A.D. Like guys like anyway, I ain't really dig, too much. Guys like Lomachenko, he a good fighter, extremely skilled. Lomachenko is extremely skilled, but he only got one good win, really, and that's Gary Russell. You know what I mean? He got a Gary Russell win. Canelo, his past resume, pretty fucking good. You know what I mean? But as of lately, he ain't been fighting the guys that, we want him to fight. He ain't been fighting the top guys in and around his division. He been jumping around in these divisions, getting belts, but not giving us the best possible fights that he can give us. Y'all get what I'm saying? But people do get labeled, top guys too quick, which is why I want to give these guys in this particular photo, their kudos. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna break, and I'm finna go back through these 4 fighters, and I'm gonna go through their fights. I'm gonna go through their last couple fights, and with Jermell Charlo, I'm gonna take you through those early fights. You know what I mean? To show you exactly about Jermell Charlo and how really this guy been fighting. He been fighting through the wire his whole fucking career. Some of these names on this junk you haven't heard in a minute, but when I explain to you who they are, you're going to fucking recognize who they are when I get to these people. I'm going to go through their last fights and show y'all exactly why I'm picking these people for the reason why, I'm picking them. He said Golovkin is the perfect example, ducking everyone. Yeah, Golovkin is a good example of people getting crowned the best, before that necessarily has proven, that they are the best. I feel like, and Golovkin actually just came out. Actually, Golovkin had just came out recently, and he stated something like, I'm more than just those Canelo Alvarez's fight. That was good. Golovkin said. So I think that he kind of feeling that pressure that, oh, people starting to realize that I haven't really fought too many people. You know what I mean? I haven't really fought too many people. He says the Mayweather affect your future earnings, but these guys surrounded by too many businessmen. Real worth is the entertainment that you bring. Longevity is the entertainment fact. When you bring the entertainment, you have longevity. We remember those good fights. We remember those high fights. He said that's why Shashore got 12 losses, but still making millions. Right. And I don't and that's why you don't see me go in on Shashore. I don't like that shit he did the program that time. But you don't see me go in hard on Shashore because that nigga fight anybody. You know what I mean? He don't win at all. He never wins. He never fucking wins. Hasn't won one of them yet, I don't think, against his top fights. But he will step in the ring and he will throw them hands. You know what I mean? So I don't really knock dude. The one thing I like about the UK, though, the UK don't get no problems. The UK don't get problems, with celebrating the fighter, with losses. You know what I mean? And we could talk about these JBF. And I could tell you why I put Earl in there and not Bud. Because if you look at their most recent fights, if you look at, their biggest fights, Bud hasn't fought the competition that Earl has fought. Earl has fought better competition. Earl has fought those big names, those big fights. Earl has given you those big fights. Bud Crawford hasn't fought a top 5 welterweight yet. Sean Porter was ranked number 7, I think. Sean Porter is the only top welterweight that he's fought. He's been a welterweight like 4 or 5 years. No Bud hate, just straight facts. Bud not in there over Earl because Bud hasn't fought the people he's fought. He and there's no shot against. I think the 2 best fighters in the world are Earl and Bud. That's my pound for pound. But Bud just hasn't fought the guys that Earl has fought. You know what I mean? It ain't got nothing to do with, nothing to do with them two. Just I feel like if you was to put Bud, back then in the day, and actually maybe at the lower weight class, I'm really just talking about Bud lately at 147, not at 140, 35, or nothing like that. Down there, hell yeah, I think Bud would have, got up with those guys. But if you move up to 147 and you show, then you can't, so I chose Earl, it wasn't even Earl over Bud. I put Earl in there. It wasn't even an Earl and Bud thing. It wasn't even an Earl and Bud thing. It was just an Earl thing. You know what I mean? It had nothing to do with Bud. But he said Bud fighting Greenville. But yeah, I'm finna go through this real quick. I'm finna tell y'all the fights early in Jermell Charlo's career that Jermell Charlo was supposed to use. I'm gonna tell y'all why I call this man the king. I call this man the king. Let me go to these. I'm just gonna go through his resume for y'all real quick, and I'm gonna start right here. I'm gonna start right here, and I want y'all to go through this with me. I want y'all to go through this shit with me. I want y'all to go through this shit with me. Can y'all see that? Oh, damn, my bad. Y'all, I'm fucked up, bro. I've been over here talking my ass off. I've been talking my ass off, bro, not even knowing that, damn, if I take my screen down, y'all can't even fucking hear me. Shout out my guy. Shout out my guy Z Worldwide. My bad, y'all. I wonder why y'all weren't responding to me. But hell yeah. So let me start over. We got Jermell Charlo. Now I'm gonna ask y'all these questions. Maybe y'all know. If y'all don't know, I'm gonna fucking tell you, right? Look at this name. You see Demetrius Hopkins. Right? Now that name look familiar, right? Now we all know who Bernard Hopkins is. You know what I mean? We all know who Bernard Hopkins is. And if we don't know who Bernard Hopkins is, I'm gonna tell you, Bernard Hopkins, is one of the greatest fighters to put, some gloves on. You know what I mean? The great Bernard Hopkins. Now we know that that's fucked up, Cassandra. That's messed up, Cassandra. I feel so slow. Now we all know, and if we don't know, I'm here to tell you. We all know that Bernard Hopkins works for Golden Boy. He works with Oscar De La Hoya. Essentially, he's part owner of Golden Boy, which means that Jermell Charlo was put in the ring to fight his fucking boss's nephew. Now, do you think if I put you in the ring with my nephew and I'm your boss, I want you to win that fight? Demetrius Hopkins had over 30 wins when he fought Charlo. Not 30 fights. He had over 30 wins when he fought Charlo, which is the boss's nephew, and they put him in a fight to fight the boss's nephew with 30 wins, and Jermell Charlo didn't even have over 20 fights. Does that sound like a fight that they wanted Jermell Charlo to win? I'm going to put you in there with my nephew. You got less than 20 fights. He got over 30 fights. He coming off, a string of good wins, some knockout wins. I'm going to put you in there with him, Jermell. So they put him in there with Bernard Hopkins' nephew, and Jermell Charlo beat Bernard Hopkins' nephew. This was early. This was before Jermell even had, 20 fights. And they also put him in there with Dennis Duggan right here, you see, before that, when Dennis Duggan was 14-1. You know what I mean? 2 fights I think that Jermell Charlo was supposed to lose. But most definitely this Demetrius Charlo fight, there was no way in hell anybody finna get me to believe that this was a fight they put Jermell Charlo in, expecting him to win. I think they was trying to get him out the way then, matching him up with Demetrius Hopkins before, his 20th fight. And he won that fight. Now let's move up. Gabe Rosado. Gabe Rosado is the guy who fights at a class above Jermell Charlo. You know what I mean? He fights at a class above Jermell Charlo. That's a tough fight for anybody, which is Gabe Rosado. Gabe Rosado gonna give you a tough fight. Gabe Rosado upset, the belt bully. You know what I mean? He upset the belt bully. He just gave Hammy Munguia the fight of his life. It was a time in that fight where I thought Gabe Rosado damn near got Hammy Munguia out the fight, but the referee jumped in, kind of early. He jumped in a little prematurely, if you ask me. And he kind of, broke it up like a couple seconds before the round ended. But Jermell Charlo fought Gabe Rosado years ago. And people still give Gabe Rosado a bunch of credit, today. Gabe Rosado is still a player in what's going on today. This is another fight I think Jermell Charlo had, and they were, they wasn't expecting him to win. Charlo had been getting matched up pretty tough his whole career. And I'm just going through some of these jumps so y'all can see, for yourself, so y'all could visually see, what the fuck I'm saying. So y'all could visually see, what the fuck I'm saying. So we got Demetrius Hopkins, we got Gabe Rosado. And I'm gonna move up right here. Now I'm finna butcher his name. But I'm gonna tell y'all who this is, and y'all gonna be able to know exactly who the fuck I'm talking about, when, where, and how. Now he beat this guy named Vinicius Martirosyan. Vinicius Martirosyan. I know I'm fucking his Vinicius. I think his name is Vinicius. I think it's pronounced Vinicius. Vinicius Martirosyan. If that name looks familiar to you, it's probably because this guy fought Triple G. And as you can see, their record says 35-1-1. So again, they put Charlo in there with another guy who got 30 plus fights, damn near 40 fights, when Charlo only has about, 21 fights at this time, 22 fights. This guy fought Triple G, another guy at 160. So there's two guys I done showed y'all. Gabe Rosado, who fights at 160. Venice Montreal. I can't say that my name. Vinicius. I'm calling my name Vinicius. Y'all know Vinicius. Vinicius fought Triple G. Triple G gave Vinicius one of his only few losses. But he fought this guy years before Triple G. He fought Gabe Rosado years before all these people y'all giving credit for beating Gabe Rosado. He fought his fucking owner. He fought his fucking owner nephew years, before people even knew about it. Demetrius Hopkins will be a star today, will still be a star today if he had to beat Jermell Charlo in that fight. I think they were supposed to. I think they were trying to get Jermell Charlo beat long ago. This guy right here fights at 160. Vinicius Montreosin. He fights at 160 right now. Gabe Rosado fights at 160. This is boss's nephew. These are not fights he was supposed to win. Again, slide back down real quick. He fought Dennis Douglas when Dennis Douglas was 14-1. Dennis Douglas is seen as, a journeyman gatekeeper, but he's fought, a lot of people. Now I'm about to move up. There's two guys at 160. And there you go, Ghost. My nigga Ghost. Let me go back and put that shit up there. My nigga Ghost knows something. I'm telling you. We going to school today. We going to school today in this motherfucker. There you go, man. There you fucking go. We going to school in this bitch today. Tell them folks, Ghost. They put that man. Vinicius had a draw with Larius. People argue he won. You know what I mean? Andrade schooled him. Tell these folks. Dude could fight. They put Charlo in there with him years ago. They put him in there with so early. People don't even give him credit for the Vinicius win, for the Gabe Rosado win, for the Demetrius Hopkins win. Jermell Charlo been getting matched up hard his whole career. How the fuck is bro not on the pound for pound? How the fuck is he not on the pound for pound? I need to roll up. I'm going to move up real quick. John Jackson, Charles Hotley. I'm going to go to this one. Erickson Lubin. Now, he was Showtime at this point. With Erickson Lubin. We got Erickson Lubin. Erickson Lubin was seen as a up-and-comer. He was seen as the hottest thing going. In this fight, with a different company, I think Golden Boy was trying to get him beat early to make a star. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. Y'all know I fuck with Erickson Lubin. That's my guy. Y'all know I'm pro Erickson Lubin. I feel like Showtime wanted Erickson Lubin to beat Jermell Charlo when they put Erickson Lubin in there with Jermell Charlo. You had the fans. You had Showtime going, oh, man, Erickson Lubin is next up. Erickson Lubin look good. Erickson Lubin got some pop. Erickson Lubin only 19, 20 years old. I'm telling you. And all that shit is true. Erickson Lubin is still that nigga, and he was that nigga then. I think Showtime was putting him in this fight to try to get him beat. You know what I mean? I think they was trying to get him beat fighting Erickson Lubin. And Jermell Charlo went in there, and he stopped Lubin in the first round. And that's when the legend of Jermell Charlo was born, with that win. When he got matched up with another guy with a big name, he got a decent name. He got a big name. He got a name. He got matched up with another guy with a name. Another fighter they thought was next up. Charlo, they didn't think Charlo was next up. Charlo just beat the fighters to prove to them that he was next up. They maxed him over Erickson Lubin. He stopped them in the first round, and boom, the legend of Jermell Charlo is born. Come on, man. But this guy not pound for pound? You mean to tell me this guy not a king? And then let's move up one more. Let's move up from Erickson Lubin. Young prospect. Okay, well, you beat Erickson Lubin, bro. You ain't nothing. You too young. Even though you beat Hopkins, even though you beat Vinicius, even though you beat Gabe Rosado already. Them folks ain't nothing. You beat Erickson Lubin. He ain't nothing either. He just a young prospect. He wasn't ready. He'll beat you now in these days. So let's move up. Motherfucker, you got Austin Trout. Now act like y'all don't know who the fuck Austin Trout is. And yeah, Austin Trout was this. He was there. Okay, cool. I feel you. Austin Trout is Austin Trout. Y'all give Canelo, all that credit for Austin Trout. Austin Trout was old goddamn then too. Austin Trout still fighting today. He gonna fight until he older. That's just what it is, right? Austin Trout has been in a competitive fight after competitive fight after competitive fight after competitive fight. That means Austin Trout is a competitor. Austin Trout is also a former champion. You know what I mean? So boom, they go from Erickson Lubin to Austin Trout. So you go from Erickson Lubin to an Austin Trout. That ain't no slouch. That ain't no drop off. That ain't no cakewalk. That ain't some shit you could sneeze at. Boom. This man beats Austin Trout too. Beats Austin Trout. You know what I mean? In the good fight, Austin Trout gave him a hell of a fight. Jermell Charlo almost lost this fight. This is the fight that Jermell Charlo almost lost. This Austin Trout fight. Great fight. Great fight. Great fight. Love this fight. If you want to see an entertaining fight, go back and watch Jermell Charlo versus Austin Trout. So boom. Now we got Hopkins. We got Vinicius. We got Erickson Lubin. We got Austin Trout. And now, here we go. This is what solidified Jermell Charlo as what I call him today, as one of the kings of today. This is the series. This is the wins. These are the fights that solidified this man as who, that solidified him as who he is today. Where you had to stop questioning who he was. Where you had to give him his kudos. Where you had to go on and say, well, I can't say that, I can't knock you no more. At least this is where I thought where he should have been, got to that level where you can't knock him no more, where you got to give him his kudos, where you got to give him his credit. Y'all stop, do me a favor, hit that like button for me. Greatly appreciate it. We get to Tony Harrison. Now, he lost this first fight against Tony. This is his first blemish on his record, his first loss. Not gonna say the first time he had controversy in his career, because I told you this guy was built through controversy early in his career, beating his boss's nephew, being put in there with Gary Rosado and Vinicius. He was built off controversy. This guy is ready. That's what I'm telling you. He was never going to back down from nobody, no era. This guy is a king. This guy is a throwback fighter. This guy is one of the best fighters we have in boxing today. This guy, Jermell, this is where I saw this. In this fight, he took his first L. You know what I mean? And I felt like that he won. If I might get Jamie Fink said he feel like he lost to Vinicius. Jamie, I'm telling you, that Vinicius boy can fight. That's all I'm saying. Bingo. And he beat Vinicius. And it was a close fight. He feel like he lost. You feel what I'm saying? Boom. He beat Vinicius. We get to Tony Harrison now. Vinicius we get to Tony Harrison. Facts. Vinicius is a damn good fighter. Don't let nobody tell you no different. And Jermell Charlo beat him first. I'm going to say it again. Charlo beat him first. And Charlo fights at 154. And Vinicius fights at 160 now. Charlo beat him early, y'all. Understand what I'm saying. Because y'all don't know Vinicius. That's why y'all looking at me like that. Y'all don't know Vinicius. Charlo beat him first. He beat him early. He beat him at 154. Charlo is the reason he went up. He went up because of Charlo. This guy is a throwback fighter. This guy is a king. This guy fights in any era. This guy is one of the greats. We got to put some respect on bruh's name. Tony Harris, he took his first loss. Came through. He took his first loss to Tony Harris in a controversial fight. I personally thought Jermell Charlo won this fight. A close fight, I thought Charlo won it. Charlo thought he won it. But instead of Charlo, breaking down, going the other way or whatever, he got right back in the rematch with Tony Harrison. Now, Tony Harrison had an injury, had to pull out, so he Cotto, knocked him out. Boom. We go back to the second Tony Harrison fight after Jermell took his first loss of his career. Controversial loss. You got the people saying this. You got the people saying that. You got people, oh, well, I knew he wasn't that good. Tony Harrison beat him. Tony Harrison is a great fighter himself. Tony Harrison only got 2 losses. Fuck you talking about. You know what I mean? Maybe a third, but that's later on in his career. But at this point, he only got, a loss. You know what I mean? Tony Harrison is a great fucking fighter, too. One of the best pure boxers in the game, if not the best pure boxer in the game. I'm going to say it again. Tony Harrison is one of the best pure boxers in the game, if not the best pure boxer in the game. Tony Harrison is going to be a damn good boxing coach. Believe you me, because Tony Harrison already got a hand in crowning the fucking champion in Alyssa Bumgarner, and he's still an active fighter. Talk to me. But he stopped Tony Harrison in his second fight. Tony Harrison was one of those prospects you know, who's supposed to be and who is a big name in boxing. Brash guy, ain't scared to say how you feel. Fuck with Tony Harrison. Jermell Charlo stopped him in a fight where some people thought that he was losing this fight. Again, I didn't think he was losing this fight, but some people thought that he was losing this fight. Jermell Charlo dug down deep, ended up stopping Tony Harrison, getting Tony out of there. That was his redemption fight. Tony Harrison. So he's been through the fire, took a loss, bounced back, looked great. Boom. You got Jermell Charlo and you got you got Jermell Charlo and you got J-Rock Williams setting up for the biggest motherfucking unified fight in the 154-pound division that we done seen in years. You got get that Uncle Phil dude. You got Charlo and J-Rock. You got Charlo and I said J-Rock Williams. You got Charlo and Jarrett Hurd about to fight the biggest 154-pound unification in years. Potentially the biggest unification in years. Hurd, Charlo, it's a real beef. Everybody wants smoke. They building it up. Hurd looking like a monster. Hurd didn't beat Lara. Hurd beat Austin Trout. You got Hurd looking like a motherfucking monster. You got Charlo popping his shit, Hurd popping his shit, and then boom, you got J-Rock Williams upsetting motherfucking Jarrett Hurd. J-Rock Williams, you know, beats the hell out of Jarrett Hurd, drops him. Jarrett Hurd really ain't been the same since that J-Rock Williams lost. Shout out J-Rock Williams for being able to take his losses and, you know, bounce back. Even though J-Rock Williams just lost a fight, and I thought he's supposed to win his last fight. He looked bad his last fight. I don't know what that was about, but he bounced back from that loss or the fight before that, but then he lost his last fight, J-Rock Williams. But boom, you got J-Rock Williams upsetting Jarrett Hurd. Now you got Jarrett Hurd and Jermell Charlo going at it about the biggest fight in the unified division. You got Julian J-Rock Williams popping his shit here, popping his shit there. He like, oh yeah, after I beat this guy called Jay Henson Rosario, me and Charlo, we go for undisputed. We gonna make this shit happen. Me and you, Philly versus Texas, nigga. Let's do it. Had the people going. Damn sure had me going. I'm like, big J-Rock Williams finna take care of this dude. We gonna get to Jermell Charlo versus J-Rock Williams. J-Rock Williams getting knocked out. So now you got motherfucking J-Rock upsetting Jarrett Hurd. And then you got J-Rock Williams getting upset by Banana J. Henson Rosario. Guess what I mean? 154, the toughest division in the fucking game. So we got two upsets. We done had Charlo build his name with two big fights, right? Two big fights that would have shot his name through the roof. Jarrett Hurd, J-Rock Williams shoots his name through the fucking roof. Those guys end up losing the fight before theirs, fucked up the bag. Now you got Banana Rosario, Jay Henson Rosario. Jay Henson Rosario, at this point, he was an undefeated fighter. He might have had one loss. At this point, Jay Henson Rosario had one loss. Know what I mean? Coming off a knockout victory over Jay Henson, over J-Rock Hurd. Jay Henson Rosario didn't take nobody. He didn't take no fight before. He didn't talk about nobody else. He said, I want Charlo. Boom. So now we got unified. We finally got unification at the 154 division with Charlo and these two other belts they've been seen to avoid, you know, Charlo, because the guy that he supposed to fight, you know, kept losing. So this fight was a showcase fight for Jermell. You know, he just redeemed himself against Tony. You know what I mean? This fight was a showcase fight for Jermell. Jermell came in this fight and he looked flawless. If you want to see Jermell Charlo at his highest, Jermell Charlo at his best, Jermell Charlo at his peak, the best Jermell Charlo you can see, go watch Jay Henson Rosario versus Jermell Charlo. That boy put on the boxer puncher showcase. That's the best I ever seen, Jermell. Shout out Jermell, dog. That shit was beautiful. That's a beautiful fight to watch as a Jermell fan. Stop Jay Henson Rosario and everything. One of the freakiest, one of the weirdest stoppages I still seen ever in my life. Shit was weird. One of the weirdest things ever. At this point, Jermell Charlo is on top of the fucking world. He's being the best of the best in his division. All the top guys. Is one thing left for Jermell Charlo to do. Fight Brian Castano. And I know how we feel about that decision. He got a split draw. I personally feel this is the fight that I feel like Jermell lost. He got the draw. Can't argue it. I only had Brian Costello winning by 1 point. So I can't argue if you gave it a draw. That's 1 point less than what I had. I'd be a fool to say robbery when I only had it 1 point higher than what they had. You know what I mean? Got a draw with Brian Costello. Now that boy is back. Now, if he is able to get in here, beat Brian Costello, put his name in the record books, put his name in the record books, beat Brian Costello in a fight in which, you know, some people feel like he lost before. You know what I mean? Get that undisputed title, put his name on that special list that not many have their name on. At that point, undeniably, we have to crown, you know, Jermell Charlo, you know, as one of the kings, is one of the best fighters in the world today. We could crown everybody else, but Jermell Charlo, you know, meets the bill. He meets the bill type deal. So that's why I got Jermell Charlo up here in the king list. Now I'm gonna give you Errol Spence. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you Errol Spence. Why I got Errol Spence? I just took you through Jermell Charlo's resume. And if you still have questions about, you know, Jermell Charlo and whatnot, why I got him on the list, then I really feel like you just don't know boxing. I just took you through that man resume from top to bottom. What's good, DP? Glad you could make it, DP. Glad you could make it. Appreciate you sliding through this junk. Can y'all do your boy a favor? Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, okay. Now I'm finna bring my screen back up and we about to do Errol Spence Jr. I'm gonna make these quick because my guy Dwayne Freeman come on in 45 minutes. I don't gotta make it too. I got enough time. I can get y'all this shit the right way. We about to do Errol Spence Jr. So bet. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm about to walk you down Errol Spence Jr., you know, resume, his resume, why I got him on this list as one of the kings of this division, one of the guys who don't get the credit he deserves, just like Jermell Charlo. Now I want to start here. I'm going to start with Chris Algieri. At this point, Chris Algieri, you know, had one loss. He was the former champion at a lower division. He came up to the 147-pound division, you know, got him a win. Got him a win, and then he decided to fight Errol Spence. Kudos to Chris Algieri for fighting Errol Spence. Y'all know Chris Algieri just had a fight against Conor Benn, except for the fact that this wasn't old Chris Algieri. This was Chris Algieri in his prime. You know what I mean? This was prime Chris Algieri. So you got Errol Spence fighting Chris Algieri, stopping Chris Algieri, boom. You got him moving up to Leonard Bundu. Leonard Bundu was an undefeated fighter at this time, if I'm not mistaken, undefeated or had one loss. You know, either way, Bundu, you know, was seen, you know, as a threat. He wasn't seen as the best boxer in the division at the time, but around this time, Errol Spence and Leonard Bundu was around the same level. Just like Chris Algieri and Errol Spence, they all were around, you know, the same level at that time. Errol Spence was still trying to make his way to get up to where he's going. Beat Chris Algieri, stop Chris Algieri, stop Leonard Bundu. Now, let's move up to this fight. Kell Brook. This is the fight where Errol Spence started to put the people on notice. We could say the Algieri and Bundu fight, you know, he picked up fans with those. Would have been on Fox, regular TV and everything. That is true. He picked up fans with those. But the fight that really, really did it for him, the fight that really, really broke ground for him, the fight that really, really put his name on the map is this Kell Brook fight when he went to fight Kell Brook in his country after Kell Brook was coming off a Sean Porter win and after Kell Brook was coming out fighting Triple G. At that point, Triple G was seen as the best 147-pounder in the world at the time that Errol Spence beat him. Again, I'm going to say this for the people who don't really know boxing. He was seen as the best 147-pounder in the world. Not 160-pounder, but the best 147-pounder in the world at that time. Beat Sean Porter. He was ranked number 1. It was talks about Brook and Thurman. Keith Thurman had an injury or whatsoever at the time. Errol Spence was trying to get a fight with Keith Thurman. Errol Spence trying to get a fight with Sean Porter. Couldn't really get the fight. Kell Brook couldn't really get the fight with Keith Thurman like he wanted. Couldn't get the fight with Floyd like he wanted. You know what I mean? So Kell Brook said, you know, he beat Sean Porter, and then Kell Brook moved up to the 160-pound division to fight Triple G, in which he lost. He lost to Triple G, which gave him his first and only loss of his career at that time. But Kell Brook went back down to his division. So Kell Brook is as big as he can be right now. He beat Sean Porter. He fought Kell Brook. He got his profile up. He got his name up now. Best Kell Brook, prime Kell Brook. You know what I mean? Some people feel like, you know, you done after one loss. I'm not one of them people that feel like that. You know, this Kell Brook only had one loss to a guy outside of his division. You know what I mean? So in my mind, this is not even a real loss to me that he got at this point in time when it comes to Kell Brook again. Kell Brook is the best ranked number one 147-pound welterweight at this time of this fight with Errol Spence. So Errol Spence goes over to the UK, you know what I mean, to fight Kell Brook in a tough fight. It was a tough fight. Errol Spence was down early in the cards. Errol Spence had to dig deep in this fight. Kell Brook had Errol Spence's mouth bloody. Kell Brook jabbed in the beginning of the fight, was getting off a little better than Errol Spence jab was. He was working his jab a little better than Errol Spence, was giving Errol Spence problem early. It took Errol Spence about 6 or 7 rounds to figure Kell Brook out in this fight in 2017. You know, Kell Brook was a monster. This wasn't old Kell Brook, not the Kell Brook that fought, you know, not the Kell Brook that fought Bud Crawford, not even the Kell Brook that fought Amir Khan. This was prime Kell Brook, 2017, not 2020, 21, 22. You know what I mean? This was the year back, about 5, 6, 7 years ago. You know what I mean? Kell Brook, you know, was giving it to Earl a little bit. Tough fight for Earl. Earl had to pull down in this fight. He pulled down, and he ended up stopping Kell Brook. He beat Kell Brook by knockout, ended up stopping Kell Brook, handing Kell Brook the second loss of his career, in which Kell Brook hasn't had a loss in his career until he fought Bud again in 2021. You know what I mean? So that's what Errol Spence, you know, shining moment. That was his breaking moment. Kell Brook is the fight. Errol Spence going over to the UK. Kell Brook is the fight that put Errol Spence on the map. That is the first fight, which got me to saying this guy's special. This guy is different. This guy fought Algeria. He fought Bundu, and he stopped Kell Brook. You know what I mean? He broke the other side of his face. Triple G at 160, who's a much bigger guy, beat Kell Brook, stopped him. Okay, well, I expect you to do that. Triple G, you much bigger than him. He came up from 147 to fight you know what I mean? He balanced out about 154, but at this time, he was fighting at 147. Came up to fight Triple G, lost, cool. Come back down, Errol Spence gets the stoppage of Kell Brook, and I think that's the loss right there that changed Kell Brook's trajectory. Kell Brook was about 6 rounds from being, you know, on top again with an Errol Spence win because he was up on the cards for a long time, and then Errol Spence kind of walked him down. You know what I mean? Good fight. That was Errol breakthrough fight. And right after Kell Brook, champion, top 10 fighter, top 10 welterweight, Chris Algieri. Top 10 welterweight, Leonard Bundu. The number 1 welterweight, Kell Brook. You know what I mean? Kell Brook. After Kell Brook, he fights another top 10 welterweight in Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson is a 140-pound division champion as well. He came up 2 division champ. Is Lamont Peterson also champ at 147. He fights Lamont Peterson right after his Kell Brook win. Continuing his run of, you know, giving us great, giving us exciting, giving us entertaining fights. Continuing his run. Kell Brook, Lamont Peterson, former champion, Errol Spence takes him out. And when Errol Spence beat up Lamont Peterson, he won on the scorecard. No, matter of fact, that they threw in the towel with Lamont Peterson. Errol Spence put on, if you want to see like a good Errol Spence fight, if you're an Errol Spence fan, you want to see Errol Spence at his best. You want to see Errol Spence put everything together. You want to see Errol Spence, you know, put that hurt on somebody. You want to see a classic Errol Spence fight. Watch Errol Spence versus Lamont Peterson. That guy put on a boxing performance, looked strong, put on a great boxing performance as well. Highly entertaining fight, just like Jermell Charlo versus Banana Rosario. This is Errol Spence showcase fight. This is the fight where Errol Spence went in there and he showed you everything he could do, and he got the stoppage, in the end. Now notice, he knocked out Chris Algieri, he knocked out Leonard Bundu, he knocked out Kell Brook. These are top 10 welterweights at the time that he beat these guys, y'all. Listen to what I'm saying. I need Ricky. Do you hear what I said? These are top 10 welterweights at the time Errol Spence is knocking these guys out. Not just beating these guys, he's knocking these guys out. Top 10 welterweights. Chris Algieri, Leonard Bundu, Kell Brook, Lamont Peterson. Top 10 welterweights. Knocked them out. 4 straight knockouts. Top 10 guys. Top 10. Kell Brook, top 5 guy. Number 1. Top 10. Number 1. Lamont Peterson, top 10. Knocked him out. Then he fights his mandatory and Carlos Ocampo. Carlos Ocampo is undefeated at this time. He fights his mandatory and Carlos Ocampo, who's not ranked at all. You know what actually, he was ranked because he was the mandatory. You can't beat a mandatory if you're not ranked. So again, top 10 welterweight, Carlos Ocampo. So you got top 10 Chris Algieri. You got top 10 Leonard Bundu. You got top 10 Kell Brook. You got top 10 Lamont Peterson. You got top 10 Carlos Ocampo. Knockouts, straight knockout. There's 5 straight knockouts of top 10 welterweights. Now it's a myth. Oh, when Errol Spence, Errol Spence ain't had no knockout in a long time. He ain't had no knockouts in a long time. But feel what I'm saying right here before we get to that stretch. And when we get to that stretch, we're gonna talk about that as well. So we got Chris Algieri, top 10 welterweight, knocked him out. Leonard Bundu, top 10 welterweight, knocked him out. Chris Brook, number 1 welterweight, knocked him out. Lamont Peterson, top 10 welterweight, knocked him out. Carlos Ocampo, top 10 welterweight, knocked him out. Now, this is Errol Spence's stardom fight. This is where Errol Spence got his big break. Mikey Garcia, three-time division champion. Mikey Garcia, bad motherfucker, undefeated Mikey Garcia. Knock your ass out, Mikey Garcia. Got power along with boxing ability, who go in there trying to hurt you, who beat Adrian Broner, who beat Robert Easter, coming out some of the biggest wins of his career. Mikey Garcia, this was Errol Spence's showcase fight, and this was also for the IBF title at 147 pounds. Mikey Garcia comes up from 140 to 147. Undefeated Mikey Garcia, not the guy that lost to Sando Martin. That was after Errol Spence. Undefeated Mikey Garcia. You even had some people picking Mikey Garcia to win this fight. You know what I mean? Sugar Ray Leonard picked Mikey Garcia to win this fight. Everybody was saying Mikey Garcia is going to outbox Errol Spence. You know what I mean? Errol Spence doesn't have the IQ to beat Mikey Garcia. You got people into this fight at Cowboy Stadium. Errol Spence first pay-per-view. Mikey Garcia first pay-per-view. People who have been building big names for themselves, Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia, who have been building big names for themselves. They're on this collision course to collide now. You got the best guy at the 140-pound division. You got what's to be seen. And right now at this point, even then, the guy trying to put his name in the talks to be the best welterweight in that division. You got a guy trying to make his name. You got a guy, Mikey Garcia, trying to take a name, one of the best welterweights. You got Mikey Garcia, one of the best welterweights in there trying to take a name. You know what I mean? You got eyes watch. You got everybody eyes on it. You got the boxing world intrigued. You know what I mean? Pay-per-view did pretty good, did great for today's standards. You know what I mean? He beat Mikey Garcia and he didn't get the stoppage. Now, this is what I want to hit on a little bit. This win against Mikey Garcia is the win. This is when people started trying to degrade Earl and trying to downgrade Earl. And it only took one fight after he had knocked. Listen to this, y'all. This is why I want to get it. Because a lot of people want to pretend they know shit about boxing, but they really don't. Which is why I brought you here today, for this lesson. I know a lot of people go miss it, but this shit ain't going nowhere. I'm going to keep this one up so y'all, can see it. This shit ain't going nowhere. This is where people want to discredit Earl. After he knocked out a top 10 welterweight in Chris Algieri, Leonard Bundu, top 10 welterweight. Number 1 welterweight in Kell Brook. Top 10 welterweight in Lamont Peterson. Top 10 welterweight in Carlos Ocampo. 3 division champion and Mikey Garcia, he comes up a division, and Errol Spence, he didn't knock him out. He beat him, 12-0 him. Mikey Garcia is 39-0. Earl Spence 12-0 the guy who was 39-0, who was seen to be a better boxer, who was seen to have the higher boxing IQ, who was coming off wins over Adrian Broner and Robert Easter. Earl Spence 12-0 Mikey Garcia. And what people said after this fight is, oh, he didn't knock Mikey out. Notice they couldn't wait for Earl Spence not to knock Mikey out after knocking out 5 top 10 welterweights and the number 1 welterweight in his division at that time. But he beat a 3-division champion in Mikey, and all you got to say is he didn't get the knockout. Mikey was 39-0, and Earl Spence 12-0'd him. So he's fought 1, 2, 3. No, he's fought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top 10 welterweights, and he fought Mikey Garcia, the best 140-pound guy coming up in his division. Still a good name. And then, boom, our next fight, we go to Sean Porter. Now, Sean Porter and Earl, that fight kind of got a little personal. I wasn't expecting that fight to get personal. That fight kind of got personal. Sean Porter was saying, Earl Spence, you don't have more dog than me. You don't. Now, this, I'm getting into the fan-friendly part now, you know what I mean? He didn't beat top 10 welterweight, the top 10 welterweight, and he's a fan-friendly fighter. You got Sean Porter saying, you don't got more dog than me. You go ahead and try to box me like you did Mikey. You don't got more dog than me. You good, but this going to be a dog fight. Earl, like, I'm a dog too. You got Earl who went in there and he gave you a hell of a fast fight. He fought Sean Porter on the inside from start to finish. If you go watch that fight, Earl Spence was putting Sean Porter on his back foot majority of that night. It was Earl the one that was initiating the fight, initiating the contact, initiating the banging. When before the fight, Sean Porter was saying, you don't got more dog than me, this and that. Earl Spence was the one moving forward, plotting forward, most of that fight in the Sean Porter fight. Highly entertaining fight. Earl Spence wins a split decision against Sean Porter in a close fight. Highly entertaining fight. And then you have people say, he didn't knock out Sean Porter either. He didn't knock out Sean Porter either again. Now, he's fighting 6 top 10 welterweights. He's fighting 6 top 10 welterweights at that time on this run. Listen to what I'm saying. He's fighting 6 top 10 welterweights at this time on that run, including Sean Porter. And you add in Mikey Garcia. And you add in Mike. Okay, I feel you, Teach. You feel like he beat him. That's cool, but he didn't, though. He won. So he has beaten 6 top welterweights after Sean Porter. Just like I feel like Castano beat Jermell, but Jermell won. I feel like Jermell beat Tony Harrison, but Tony Harrison won. Your opinion is your opinion. My opinion is my opinion. But in the end, he won. You know what I mean? It wasn't no Josh Taylor shit going on. Wasn't no Josh Taylor shit going on. That was a split decision. You can feel like Sean Porter won. That's prime Sean Porter. That's unification. He beat Sean Porter in the unification fight. That's belt for belt. Sean Porter had a belt. Errol Spence had a belt. That's unification. That's Sean Porter on his best day. That's best day Sean Porter. That's best day Sean Porter. Sean Porter hadn't took an L since Kell Brook. When this fight, came up, that's about 2 years. Sean Porter was a champion, a current champion when Errol Spence beat him. This is WBC and the IBF. The best Sean Porter. Errol Spence won split decision. He beat Sean Porter in the inside fight on a split decision, knocked Sean Porter down. You feel me? And the only thing people could say was he didn't knock him out. Now, Errol Spence has to be 6 top welterweights at this point in Mikey Garcia. He's knocked out 5 top 10 welterweights. He's beaten 6 top 10 welterweights. And it's 7 if you include Mikey Garcia, who came up from 140. So he's been Mikey Garcia in 6 top 10 welterweights and knocked out 5 of these guys in 7 fights. Knocked out 5 of these guys in 7 fights. Only people he didn't knock out is Sean Porter and Mikey Garcia. Now let's go. He had a car wreck, right? He got in a car wreck, had the incident. He had to battle back. He had to miss some time. You know what I mean? He had the surgery to his face. All that good shit. He had to battle back. Missed a year. Danny Garcia had a fight in between. Now he comes off of a life-threatening car injury, right? You got people saying, oh, Errol Spence might retire. Errol Spence might do that. You know what I mean? Now, he comes off what is supposed to be a life-threatening car injury. He had to miss a year time, to get his teeth right. He lost all his teeth. You know what I mean? You got some people who feel like he ain't been right since that car wreck type deal. Danny Garcia, another top 10 welterweight. So now, I'm talking strictly welterweight and with welterweights and Mikey Garcia. Danny Garcia, top 10 welterweight. Sean Porter, top 10 welterweight. Carlos Ocampo, top 10 welterweight. Lamont Peterson, top 10 welterweight. Kell Brook, top 10 welterweight. Leonard Bundu, top 10 welterweight. Chris Algieri, top 10 welterweight. By ranking, he has beaten at this point. Now, he has beaten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 top 10 welterweight. When he get to Danny Garcia off of a car wreck, in which people was telling him to take a tune-up. People were saying, Earl, just got that car wreck. You probably won't take a tune-up first. I don't think that's going to work out for you. That's a dangerous fight to be fighting goddamn Danny Garcia. This man fought Danny Garcia, 12-0 Danny fucking Garcia. Watched him. He ain't 12-0, but he beat him pretty soundly. He ain't 12-0, I lied. He beat him pretty soundly, though. He came off a car wreck and beat Danny Garcia, another top 10 welterweight. There's 7 top 10 welterweights and Mikey Garcia. He's knocked out 5 of these top 10 welterweights, and he didn't knock out Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, and Danny Garcia. Now, Errol Spence, now I did that for a reason. And Errol Spence last 8 fights. And his last 8 fights, what people want to say is, oh, Errol Spence ain't had a knockout since 2016. They won't do his fights, though. Errol Spence had a lot of missed action. About 2 of those years, he missed. So let's say 16 and 18. Errol Spence really ain't had a knockout in 2 years. But he's been fighting top 10 welterweights for about 6 years, beating top 10 welterweights, knocked out 5 out of 8 of them in the last 6 years. He's knocked out 5 top 10 welterweights in the past 6 years. It's all about how you say shit, how you want the word shit. And the ones he did knock out, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Mikey Garcia, top 10 welterweights. Sean Porter, a champion when he beat him. He beat him still. He beat him. He watched Mikey, he watched Danny, and he beat Sean Porter. Whether you feel like he did or not, in the end, he beat him. You know what I mean? So he's beaten 8 top 10 welterweights, 7 if you want to be technical and count Mikey Garcia, if you don't want to count Mikey as a welterweight. He's beaten 8 top fighters in the world and 7 in his division at this point. At this point, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 current fights against top 10 fighters in the world. Top 10. If I really get in the specifics of these rankings, it's gonna really blow your mind because you're gonna see a lot of number 4s. You're gonna see a lot of number 5s. You're gonna see a lot of number 3s. You're gonna see some 7s. You're gonna see a fucking 6. You're gonna see a 2. You're gonna see a 1. You guys, when we really get into the rankings of what's going on with Errol Spence Jr., people won't say knockout, 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 knockout. Oh, he knocked out 5 of the 8 top welterweights. And really, since you don't count Mikey Garcia as a welterweight, he's knocked out 5 of the top 7 welterweights, and he fought Mikey Garcia and watched him. Context. And now he's about to fight Yordenis Ugas after Danny Garcia coming out for a wreck for unification at the 147-pound division. That is why Errol Spence makes my list. He's the definition of a throwback fighter. I mean, you could say guys like Earl and Jermell, guys that I already done. You could put them back there in the day, in the era. No, they might not win all of these fights, but I guarantee you it's going to be a fucking fight when you stick those guys in the ring with anybody from this era or that era. And I just told you the reason why. Because those guys have been doing it, period. Those fighters did it in their era. These fighters are doing it in this era. I don't want us to get confused because there's a lot of fluff going on. I don't want us to get confused with the fighters who really out here putting in that motherfucking work. You know what I mean? He's putting in that work. Him and Jermell putting in that work right now. He's beaten in his last 8 fights. He's beaten 8 top fighters of the world and 7 top welterweights of the fucking world. He's knocked out 5 of them. He's knocked out 5 of them. And he's about to fight your Daniel Ugas for 3-belt unification at 147. Okay. So now, real quick, because I got how much time I got left until Dwayne come on. I got 22 minutes until Dwayne come on. I'm finna give y'all a cool boy step, and then I'm gonna give y'all Devin Haney. I'm gonna make these 10 minutes apiece. I chose them 2 last because it's less to go through because those are younger fighters. You know what I mean? These are younger fighters, so it shouldn't take as long to do them. I'm going to go to cool boy Stephon Fulton first. This is one of my new favorite fighters. I'm telling you, I like this guy. I like this young brother right here, man. This is one of my new favorite fighters in boxing. One of my new favorite fighters. If you ask me my favorite fighters today, right now, to this day, right now, outside of, really now, outside of Adrian Broner, Wilder, guy, those guys. Active right now, Errol Spence and Cool Boy Steph. Errol Spence, Cool Boy Steph. My two favorite fighters today. Me personally, my personal opinion, I don't feel like nobody fucking with these 2 dudes right now. And I'm gonna tell you, I told you why I feel like they were Errol, Jermell Charlo as well, but he's not one of my favorite fighters. He used to be until he said that shit he said. So now he's just a good fighter that I give respect to. Jermell used to be my favorite fighter. You can ask Ghost, but it is what it is. Cool Boy took Jermell's spot. This boy right here, this Cool Boy, we finna give y'all his rundown. I'm finna bring the screen back up. We finna give y'all his rundown. This boy, throwback fighter. Put him in any era, and y'all asses go be in trouble. Put him in. Appreciate you sliding through this, John Jay Gibson. Okay, I see you, Dwayne. Appreciate that, Dwayne. I see you, Dwayne. I'm coming to your jump. I'm finna wrap this shit up, make my cigar run, and then I'm gonna come on your jump. Cool Boy motherfucking Step. My motherfucking nigga in the motherfucking building. Let me take y'all through. This shit ain't gonna take long. Because I ain't gotta go too far. I'm gonna go right here. Because this right when y'all started talking shit about my boy. Hold on, wait. This right when y'all started talking shit about my boy right here. Isaac Avalar. Now, Isaac Avalar ain't no huge name. A lot of people don't know him, so I ain't gonna stay on them long because I really want to get to what I want to get to. But I don't want y'all to sleep on this fucking name right here. This guy was undefeated when Cool Boy Steph decided to fight this man. Alex Avalar is, he one of them guys where you gotta come correct. You had to have come correct. If you watch his fights before Cool Boy Steph, you will understand what the fuck I'm saying. Y'all might have heard this name before, Isaac Avalar. Good fighter. I'm telling you, to this day, still a pretty good fighter. Cool Boy Steph knocked this nigga ass out. Now, y'all was saying Cool Boy Steph not entertaining. He don't get knockouts. He can't punch. Can't do this. Can't do that. Cool Boy, this really around the first time Cool Boy Steph started getting in the inside and blasting on motherfuckers. But, he didn't get as much credit as he should have for because, they both are names if you know boxing, if you follow boxing, especially when they get down to the lower weight class. So you might not know a lot of these guys. But I know about Cool Boy Steph class, 122-pound division, super bantamweight division. I know about wait, let me get my shit right. I'm finna start singing this motherfucker. Do, re, mi. Damn. I swallowed my own motherfucking spit. Shit. But hell yeah. I know about this motherfucking division, the 122-pound division. This is around the time motherfucker was starting to question Cool Boy Steph. He a good fighter, but he kind of boring. He don't mind, right, Dwayne? I told him my goddamn spit. This around time when folks were saying Cool Boy, okay, Cool Boy good. He a good fighter. But Cool Boy boring. He don't get no knockouts. He don't entertain. He's not an entertaining fighter. So Cool Boy Steph proceeded to step in this ring and he proceeded to knock out Isaac Avalon ass. Google Isaac Avalon. You want to know a little more about him? Pretty good fighter. Cool Boy fighter. Cool Boy Steph stopped this dude. I'm going to skip this guy, this Arnold Kegel guy, because he's a decent fighter, but I know y'all never heard of him before. I went to Isaac Avalon because y'all might have heard of him, and Cool Boy Steph knocked him out. This guy was supposed to be one of those prospects coming up, one of the hot guys. Cool Boy Steph put an end to that. Not going to talk about this guy too much because y'all don't really know him. He's a good fighter too. Cool Boy Steph boxed his ears off to a UD. Pretty easy fight. But the fight I want to hit on real quick, Angelo Leo. Y'all know this guy. Y'all know this Angelo Leo guy. Y'all know this guy. Y'all done heard of Angelo Leo before. Y'all know who this is. This is the fight where Cool Boy Steph got his motherfucking kudos. This is the fight where Cool Boy Steph got his marbles. This is the fight where Cool Boy Steph got his, I mean, not his marbles, his awards, you know, his medals. That's what I mean. He got his medals. Angelo Leo, Cool Boy Steph, hold on, I'm going to get my charger. But if I'm taking y'all with me, Cool Boy Steph proceeded to go on her against Angelo Leo to stand directly in front of Angelo Leo, and he proceeded to whoop Angelo Leo's ass like nobody has ever whooped Angelo Leo's ass before. I don't even think Angelo Leo might have took a loss in the fucking amateurs like he took against Cool Boy Steph. I don't think Angelo Leo did something his mama told him not to do in his childhood and took an ass whooping the way he took against Cool Boy Steph. This was Cool Boy Steph breakout fight. This was the fight where everybody, you know, even myself, started to put real respect on his name because I saw that Isaac Avalon fight. It was a good fight, but Isaac Avalon was a prospect just like Cool Boy Steph. So it didn't hold enough weight at the time to really give Cool Boy Steph the boost, you know, that he needed. But this fight against Angelo Leo, though, Angelo Leo was a big enough name. Angelo Leo was also a prospect, but Angelo Leo at this time was more well-known and more respected than Isaac Avalon at this time, right? So, Cool Boy Steph and me personally, the build-up to this fight, I'm like, oh, yeah, this going to be Cool Boy Steph toughest fight. This going to be his toughest fight. I don't know if Cool Boy go get this one. Angelo Leo ain't no hoe. Angelo Leo can scrap. Angelo Leo is a real fighter, man. He still is a real fighter. He is. Cool Boy Steph went in there, and, you know, he put hands on Angelo Leo. He put hands on Angelo Leo in a way that I didn't think he was going to put hands on Angelo Leo. I was more scared for Cool Boy going into this fight than I was in any fight with Cool Boy before. And he stepped up in this fight, and he showed you why he is one of the best fighters today. Top 10 bantamweight. You know what I mean? Top 10 super bantamweight. Angelo Leo. Top 10 super bantamweight. Isaac Avalon. 2 top 10 fighters on his resume already. Angelo Leo in dominating fashion. Knocked out Avalon. He got to be on your radar at this point, right? Now, boom. We got last year. I told y'all Cool Boy Steph is just starting to really make his stamp. Young dude, 27 years old. Young guy. Fresh in the world. Starting to make his motherfucking stamp. Brandon Figueroa. Now, this is what crowned Cool Boy Steph. This is why you have to crown Cool Boy Steph right now. Brandon Figueroa, unification in his division. One champion left with 2 belts. One champion got 2 belts. Brandon Figueroa got a belt coming out his biggest win over Luis Nery. This is another one of those opponent things. You get an extra bonus for beating good opponents. Angelo Leo, Isaac Avalon, Brandon Figueroa. You get an extra bonus when you beat top 5 guys, top 10 guys. You get an even bigger bonus for beating top 5 guys, top 10 guys in their prime. Isaac Avalon, Brandon Figueroa, Angelo Leo. He fought Brandon Figueroa for unification. The biggest name he didn't fought, he the biggest name Figueroa. Actually, Nery is a pretty big name too, so I don't really know. Nery is a big name. Figueroa stopped Nery. So Nery took Figueroa name at that point. You know what I mean? So Figueroa took Nery name at that point. Come fighting Brandon Figueroa off a Nery stoppage, bro. Listen to what I'm saying. Cool Boy Steph fought Figueroa after stopping fucking Luis Nery. He stopped Nery, bro. Nery be stopping niggas. Nery is known for beating your ass. Nery not known for getting his ass beat, getting his ass stopped. He known for stopping you. Luis Nery is known for beating your ass. Luis Nery is known for having them fucking hands. Luis Nery got real fucking hands, bro. And Figueroa stopped this man. And Cool Boy Steph is fighting Brandon Figueroa after beating Luis Nery. Luis Nery was beating Figueroa, but he gassed, in my opinion. Luis Nery and Cool Boy Stefan was the fight, bro. Luis Nery and Cool Boy Luis Nery and Cool Boy was the fight. I didn't think Figueroa was gonna be Luis Nery because I bet on Luis Nery. Figueroa was the underdog. I bet on Luis Nery. I should have bet on Figueroa. You know what I mean? That was the fight, Nery versus Cool Boy, and he beat Nery. Cool Boy took that fight after that, and he went in there and he beat Brandon Figueroa on his own, at his own game. All that he bored when he don't get knockout shit. He said, you know what? I'm finna step in here. I'm gonna fight him on the inside. I'm gonna bang with him. Now he boxed sparingly in spots, but for the most part in this fight, he fought Brandon Figueroa on the inside. He beat Brandon Figueroa with clean, effective punching, slipping and dodging punches. Brandon Figueroa was extremely active in this fight, which is why it was a majority decision. Hella fast fight, close fight, tight fight. I loved it. And Figueroa did his thing. Cool Boy Steph did his motherfucking thing. You know what I mean? I called for the rematch right after the fight. And this is another reason why I'm adding to the motherfucking myth and the legend of Cool Boy Steph. This is what I want y'all to tell people about Cool Boy Steph. Y'all like to add this and add that to these people's legacy. Make sure you add this to Cool Boy Steph motherfucking legacy. They against that majority draw against Brandon Figueroa, where people go say he lost against Figueroa. He lost against Figueroa. After that fight, make sure y'all tell people that Brandon Figueroa said that he got robbed. Cool Boy Steph said, hey, bro, bet I'll fight you again next. What you want to do? Make sure y'all tell them in the ring, Brandon Figueroa said, nah, I'm straight on that rematch. When y'all say that he lost that Cool Boy fight, that he lost that Figueroa fight, make sure y'all say the legend, the myth, keep that shit going. That he didn't want no more smoke with goddamn Cool Boy. Cool Boy said in that ring, nigga, we can run this shit back next. And people were like, nah, I'm cool. I'm going up. I'm moving up. So make sure y'all add that to that Cool Boy Steph legend. That make his legend go up even more. Because the guy just went toe-to-toe with you, felt like he won, and he didn't want to fight you again. That says something about the fighter that you are. That says something about your character when you the one that put that fight on the table. A controversial fight, and you put that fight back on the table. You laid it down right fucking there. And that man said, no, Cool Boy, you a motherfucking beast. And now we got Cool Boy about to fight Daniel Roman, another top 10 guy in his division. One top 10 guy, Isaac Avila. Another top 10 guy, Angelo Leo. Another top 10 guy, Brandon Figueroa. Another top 10 guy, Daniel Roman. Daniel Roman got a couple losses, but he's one of those fighters that'll fight anybody. I ain't scared of no smoke. I ain't scared to fight nobody. This is a mandatory for Cool Boy Steph, so he got to handle his business. And after this, if he's able to get that undisputed fight and win, I'm going to need everybody to stop questioning Cool Boy Steph and put that goddamn respect on Cool Boy name and them facts. What's good, D-Man Jr.? Appreciate you sliding through this, John D-Man. Now I'm about to give y'all the last one, Devin Haney. I'm about to tell y'all why Devin Haney does belong on this list. And it's going to be a little different conversation for Devin Haney because, you know, Devin Haney he's one of those guys that's been avoided, but I'm giving him tenfold credit for attempting to get these fights. I'm giving him tenfold credit. I'm giving him tenfold credit for the deal that he had to sign in order to take these fights. I'm giving him credit for chasing greatness. You know what I mean? I'm giving Devin Haney credit for being willing to fight anybody. And I'm going to take you through, you know, Devin Haney's, John as well, because there is some names of interest that I want to go through on this motherfucker. I'm going to be real quick. What's good, D-Man? Because I know Dwayne. What's good, Just Duke? Appreciate y'all sliding through because I know Dwayne Freeman about to go on pretty soon. So I'm finna give y'all Devin Haney jump real quick, and this shouldn't take long because most of this is going to be at the end, you know, when we get to the top of this Devin Haney list. Now I'm finna butcher this first guy name, but this guy right now, he just stopped Linares, Azur Abdullayev. That win is aging like fine wine right now. Azur Abdullayev, you know, he's still doing good right now. Now, this name might not jump out to you because, you know, a lot of folks don't know who he is. You know, a lot of folks don't really keep up with a lot of people in boxing, but this guy right here, he is no slouch. And Devin Haney put this man to sleep. Now, it was, it was in 2019. But look, if y'all, matter of fact, I'm gonna do this for a second. This guy is 15-1. His only loss is to Devin Haney. Fuck it, let's get it. Let's get it. He just stopped Jorge Linares, TKO win over Jorge Linares. You know, this is recently. Devin Haney also has a win over Jorge Linares. You know, this guy beat Henry Lundy. Henry Lundy is 29-6-1. You know what I mean? So now this guy don't get, a lot of name recognition, or he don't get a lot of media attention, but this wasn't no slouch win for Devin Haney. So I want to, hit on that jump real quick. Zaire Abdulayev, 15-1, hasn't lost since Devin Haney, and you see that he stopped Jorge Linares in his last fight. Now to this, Devin Haney didn't even stop Jorge Linares. Y'all feel what I'm saying? So sleeper, that's a pretty good, fucking win for Devin Haney. So Zaire Abdulayev, Devin Haney stopped this guy in the 4th round, knocked him out cold. You feel me? So much for that pillow fisty shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, he knocked him out cold. Then I'm going to skip this name and I'm going to go up to Yurkis Gamboa. Now, when Yurkis Gamboa fought Devin Haney, yes, he was a little older, but let me give you the context around this Yurkis Gamboa win real quick. We had Ryan Garcia pulling out a fight with Devin Haney at this time. We had Javier Fortuna pulling out a fight with Devin Haney at this time. And we had, Jojo Diaz. He was fighting the lower division at this time. So he wasn't necessarily in the division at this time. So I'm going to give him, a pass on that one. But Devin Haney ended up fighting Yurkis Gamboa. Yurkis Gamboa is what you would call a gatekeeper. He's the guy that you put your fighter in the ring with to see is he ready, to test him, to see is he the goods, or to see is he some shit, to see do he need to, keep fighting trash cans, or to see is he ready for the elite. Devin Haney fought Yurkis Gamboa. He beat Yurkis Gamboa from pillar to post. He beat his ass 12-0, if you ask me. Wasn't close at all. Gamboa didn't have a chance in this fight. Didn't look good at all. Gamboa looked better in the Tank Davis fight than he looked in this fight, my opinion. He fought Gamboa. Watch Gamboa. Gamboa is old, but again, this is around the time when people are starting to avoid Devin Haney. Around this same time, Devin Haney was trying to fight Lomachenko. Lomachenko, didn't want to fight Devin Haney still. Lomachenko still hasn't fought Devin Haney, but we go get into that later when I get to Jojo Diaz and beyond type deal. Now let's move up to Jorge Linares. I just spoke up Jorge Linares. Jorge Linares is a solid win for Devin Haney. This guy has over 50 fights. Damn near has 50 wins. Understand? This guy ain't nothing to play with. Damn near got 40 knockouts, got 30 some odd knockouts, 35, 36 like that. Jorge Linares, lost his last fight. But context. I didn't tell y'all this with Abdulayev because, I want to say for this. Context. Jorge Linares was winning that fight against Abdulayev, you know what I mean, until he got knocked out. He got stopped by Abdulayev. I bet on Jorge Linares that fight. Abdulayev ended up stopping him in the later rounds. But he was winning that fight against Abdulayev, not by much, but he was out boxing Abdulayev, putting a little pressure on him, making it harder for him. Those are good fight to watch. Go watch Jorge Linares and Abdulayev. I watched that fight on my Southern T. It was a Probellum card. Make sure y'all go check that out. Jorge Linares, that's a good win for Devin Haney. This fight was before he fought Abdulayev and got knocked out, in which he was winning. Jorge Linares is always a game fighter. This is the fight where Devin Haney was tested. Devin Haney showed in this fight that he had a chin. He showed in this fight that, he's not just, a name, that he's not just a quote-unquote pretty boy, that he's not just here, to talk, look flashy, look nice, buy nice jewelry, buy nice clothes, buy nice cars, and all that shit. He showed you that he do got some dog in him in this fight. Some people feel like that, oh, shit, he got rocked in this fight. He got a weak chin, suspect chin. I'm not one of those guys. He showed you his dog in this fight. Joseph Diaz, again, Joseph Diaz is one of the top guys in this division. Joseph Diaz is a fucking warrior. He's a fucking warrior. I'm going to say that again. He's a fucking warrior of many divisions. Joseph Diaz will fight anybody you put in front of him. Ain't scared of no smoke, black, white, Mexican, no matter what. Joseph Diaz is on your ass. And that's why I fuck with Jojo Diaz. And that's why I give Devin Haney hella kudos for this fucking win. Jojo Diaz only got 2 losses in his career. Fucking Gary Russell and fucking Devin Haney. Put some motherfucking respect on Joseph Diaz's name. Joseph Diaz will fight any fucking body. He will fight every fucking body. Put some motherfucking respect on Joseph Diaz's name. Put some motherfucking respect on Joseph Diaz's win. Fuck you talking about? The only person Joseph Diaz was hesitant to fight was motherfucking Devin Haney. So that's why you put some respect on Devin Haney, because Joseph Diaz decided to take another fight or do whatever before he fought Devin Haney. But he still ended up fighting him. And I'm giving him credit for being one of the few people who fought Devin Haney, because niggas do not want to fight Devin Haney. Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, even George Kambosos. My guy Dwayne Freeman gonna talk about George Kambosos not signing his name on a contract right now to fight Devin Haney out of Devin Haney, and I already signed this fucked up ass deal. And I got 2 minutes left, so let me go ahead and get into this fucked up ass deal. I'm putting Devin Haney on here because people don't want to fight him. They Jojo Diaz win, they Jose Linares win, they Gamboa win, and they Abdulaev win. And because people don't want to fight him, and also because Lomachenko don't want to fight him, Ryan Garcia don't want to fight him, and Gamboa and Kambosos don't want to fight him. 3 of the top guys in the division. And I'm also putting him on there because the deal he just signed to go over the top ranking was good. Professor X to do some shit that he didn't want to do. He put his career on the line. He got a chance to lose in this fight. You know what I'm saying? There's a chance that he could lose this fight. He got to go to another man's country and fight him twice. He got to get out of there unscathed twice. You know what I mean? His ground, his territory, his judges, his platform, everything. And to get this fight, he even signed to a fucking promoter that he didn't even want to sign to, and Bob Arab had to sign a top rank. So you can't tell me you can't put Devin Haney back in the days, and Devin Haney will be fighting these guys, and he'll be beating some of these guys as well. He's also what you call a throwback fucking fighter. He's what you call a king, a different, something different in the water today, along with Devin Haney, Cool Boy Steph, Jermell Charlo, and Earl Spence. They are something different in the water. These are what you call throwback fighters, fighters that are willing to fight anybody, fighters that have been fighting the best or the best available to them, fighters who are not afraid to take chances and take opportunities to consider, to put themselves in the name with the best fighters, with the best. I think you could put these guys in the ring with the best fighters from past, and if you put these guys in the ring with 20 fighters from the past, you put them in the ring with 20 fighters from the future, I believe these fighters will be able to hold their own, and they'll do damn good against anybody in any era. That's why I got these guys up here. That's why I say that y'all need to start putting respect on these particular guys' name. Earl Spence, Cool Boy Steph, Jermell Charlo, even though he a dickhead, and Devin Haney. Because in the end, once we look back, we're going to see that these are the guys who really did what they were supposed to do, who stepped up, fought the best guys, and fought the best competition. But make sure y'all go scroll over to my guy Dwayne Freeman, boxing matches with Dwayne Freeman. He about to talk about Kambosos not signing his part of the deal yet. Yes, Kambosos still hasn't signed his part of the deal yet. Don't understand what the fuck going on. TikTok, motherfucker. You told Devin Haney TikTok he got 48 hours. So technically, you didn't think you gave him that. And guess the reason that he said he didn't want to do it is because he think he got to look over the contract. Then your team make the contract. But I'm going to let Dwayne Freeman talk about that. I'm going to save my thoughts for his show whenever he decides to go live. Y'all catch me on Boxing Matches with Dwayne Freeman. Skin the Hardaway Southern T. Appreciate y'all sliding through. This ain't the past. This ain't the future, but this the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Look.